This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized History Heard representative. Today is July 19th, 2012 at 3 p.m. This is an interview with Dr. Richard Gatti in Los Angeles, California. He was born on January 12th, 1937 in Hoboken, New Jersey. Could you elaborate a little bit on that first? It was the first bone marrow transplant between individuals who weren't twins, I believe? Or was it?
Yes, that's exactly right. Bone marrows between twins or animals from the same litter had been successfully transplanted before that by Don Thomas, who went on to win the Nobel Prize because he translated that into doing the bone marrow transplants in humans and made it work, dedicated many years of his life to just going from hospital to hospital. He's still alive. I've known him all these years. He's a wonderful man. I'm not sure if I should answer. What was your original question?
Just share a little bit about why was the transplant needed?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, actually, it's exactly on the line that I was talking about. I did this when I was a young, kind of a lieutenant in the army of Dr. Robert Good, who is sitting over there. That's him at the microscope. That the one with the beard is me.
Really?
That picture was taken at that time, so you can see I was quite young. I was one of his younger assistants, and much of the thinking for how this might work was done by him. He realized at the time in Minnesota that the problem of tissue being rejected had been known for a long time, that you just couldn't take tissue from one animal to another, certainly across species, and you couldn't even take it from animals within species unless they were from litter mates. And what that turned out to be is transplantation antigens that are inherited, so that you have a different set of transplantation antigens than 3 out of 4 of your siblings. However, what he realized is that if in the mice it was really only one locus that controlled most of that histocompatibility, then if that's true in the human, the same principles should apply, and that is that 1 out of 4 of your siblings should have inherited the same 2 messages from each parent, 1 from each parent, right, as one of your 4 siblings. Now, if you only have 3, it doesn't matter because the statistics are still the same, right? So if we could identify which of your 4 siblings would be identical to you for the HLA, histocompatibility locus antigens, then we would have a donor for probably any organ. And that's generally been true. There are other problems of hooking up the blood supply and all of these things, but the principle is true. 1 in 4 sibling donors should be histocompatible. Now, that's a statistic. It doesn't apply to an individual. If you had 8 siblings, 2 should be, but perhaps you'd be unlucky and only 1 is actually going to be a potential donor for you. That was the breakthrough at the time. We had figured out how to do that in humans. So it turned out that David, behind me, had 4 sisters, in a textbook case, just what we needed. And they were all girls. He had an X-linked disease. So we immediately had a guarantee that they didn't have the disease. Otherwise, we might have to worry that we were transplanting the disease as well as a histocompatible donor. You wouldn't want that either. And it's not as simple as I'm making it, because there are other transplantation antigens that are minor. like the blood group antigens. But we took care of that in him because she had a different blood group than he did. And it didn't, I can't say it didn't make any difference, but we were successful, so it didn't make a big difference.